there's some people that we've seen before. You know, I can remember quite a few teams. Some of the guys, like Render on Dignity, for example. You know, I followed him all the way back to when we were both doing Team Fortress 2 stuff together, and now I've definitely he's a guy I've kind of followed closely, but from Just a Minute Gaming, and now he's in Dignity, and like there are some guys that have definitely been kicking around for quite a while, uh, and that gives them a chance to just, again kind of show up here, prove that they belong, and it's also good for some of these newer people to actually try and show comparative to them.
And as you said, very well tested, especially in other titles that sort of have a couple of disciplines and a couple of skills that will carry over from other titles to Overwatch, like you mentioned, Team Fortress 2, and the long history that you've had with that game, and a lot of the other players, which is still a really good thing to see. Basically a spirit rekindled, as it were. So as you see, we have the two matches that we will have on stream, which is Twisted Vision and Surge. And for the off-stream games, we have Paradigm Shift, Mort Black, and Dignity and Cascade. And a very full-on night, and it definitely will be the tale of the basically this entire tournament. It will go on for the next 5 weeks.
Well, and we don't have much time to figure out what those next 5 weeks are looking like because we don't need to. We get to start right here, right now. We are jumping in to Lijiang Tower, Twisted Vision versus Surge.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this one plays out, whether or not, or how how these teams are going to be approaching this, how if they're going to have any interesting strategies to really throw at each other right off the bat, or if they're going to play a little bit more standard and just test the waters until they can really set their feet.
They do have a little bit of leeway in terms of trying to find their footing, but it'll come down to how well you know the map. This is probably the best neutral ground to start on, in my opinion, which is the garden for Lijiang Tower. Lots of keep your eyes in the skies because we will see. Koi's already got the right idea. You see the Pharah already being in play, and perhaps we'll see a counterpart. Yes, we will. We'll see a duel to keep an eye out on. We have Autumn and Koi going at it, and we have 15 seconds. Make that 10 as of now until the gates drop, and we begin the Rise Up Invitational.
I'm very, very intrigued to see if we get anything. It looks to be a fairly standard comp. It's actually going to be mirrored right now. Both teams running same lineups. That means that they're getting ready to dive right forward here. And we are live into the Rise Up Invitational. Of course, M Dreamboat joined by Cyberwaste and GL Phoenix. As we have these players just up around throwing in some damage right now. Seeing where they can get the opening pick here, Phoenix.
Yeah, just poking and prodding, just hoping, trying to get a lot of that aerial superiority and just allow their team to then dictate the pace from the ground. It looks like Autumn is going to get the first kill. Really nicely done there, but Koi manages to take Base God out of the fight. There's no way to resurrect that Zenyatta after he's been thrown right off the map. And now the point is open, and the fight is starting to come towards the ground as GRTK is going to be able to take down a mech and also a couple of members himself. So really nicely done here from the side of Surge as the fight is going to continue on the point here, Cyber.
Yeah, Surge have indeed shocked the system and overtaken the point. There is only the Winston of Buzz trying to buy time. Very angry, very agitated, and very possessive it would seem. But QBM will eventually take down Volodante. This fight is still fighting tooth and nail as we basically still didn't even kill, and the point hasn't even been fully captured until pretty much now.
Well, they are getting right in there as these barrages are coming out. Busy Koi getting 2 of them will eventually take his own life as well. But Volante's picked off the Mercy as well, which is a nice pick. Buzz, though, he's come back with a quick pair with the help of Breezy, and they will actually cap this out. Look, we're actually going to lose that fight after some nice play from Koi.
Yeah, really nicely done there from Twisted Vision just to at least delay that capture for long enough to allow the reinforcements to come in from the rest of the team, and they were able to take the fight. Koi managed to get a nice position to get that rocket barrage out, but after taking one down, ended up taking themselves down, and it was just very hard for them to come back in. So now coming into this second fight, Volante opening up with a nice kill onto QVN. Started it very nicely as they're going to start making their way towards the point, but there are quite a few ultimates for the defensive side as the Transcendence is going to get popped. We can see the fight starting to go in favor of Twisted Vision here, Cyber.
Yes, indeed. And they do eventually hold out as we go into 40%. And it's pretty much an even keel in terms of ult advantage. We do have the self-destruct of the Pulse Bomb, but not a whole lot else for the sides of Surge Esports Club. And we see the same on the other side for Twisted Vision. So it'll be, they're running out of chances, and there goes the Q to engage. Autumn has been dropped like a stone thanks to Monstrosity's self-destruct. That will give the Mercy a little bit of a decision to make, whether to bring the comrade back up or to concede the fight. QVN will drop Volante, being the Winston with a little bit of assistance for the rest of the team. The feed is painted blue. Base God will eject Monstrosity from the mech. He will be a pilot for a little bit of time. The barrage did come out from Autumn, and it says it will be a cold Autumn and Winter for you, as they try and try to surge out the point, but it is not to be. They'll have to recoil one more time and give it a go. They're running out of chances, Dreamboat.
Yeah, and they're doing a very forward play right now, just trying to get someone booped off the ledge here with Autumn on Pharah. Let's see if they actually succeed with the boop. Koi is going to get rezzed here, and that is going to be the engagement coming in. This is the last stand right now that Surge have, and Surge will pick off Base God. Koi getting two there. It's a nice set of kills. Breezy will take him out in the end, but these kills have started to go the way of Surge ESC. What can they continue to find? And that's actually, is that a double boot from Nope? Or demeching the Diva, I should say, was almost insane. And Nora is going to be able to, you know, demech Monstrosity, but that's all he's able to find. Small consolation prize for that one.
Yeah, Surge finally managed to get themselves on the point, but for the side of Twisted Visions, they do have quite a few ultimates to work with once they come in for their next attack, whereas on the defensive side, they have a Primal Rage and a Valkyrie, so they have to be very careful with how they use this, but they're going to use it right away, trying to keep the rest of the team alive long enough for them to start picking up some of their ultimates themselves. As the Transcendence comes through for the offensive side, as does the Rocket Barrage, takes care of the Diva immediately, which is really nice stuff for the fight. Resurrection comes down, so Monstrosity is going to be back into the fight. Bast managed to take down Volante, and Autumn gets one onto Nope, so this fight for Twisted Vision is starting to take control, and here comes the Diva Mech Explosion, trying to get something, trying to get some more room. Doesn't end up getting anyone, but with Fatebringer going down, that's a lot of the sustain, a lot of the extra people on the point that is not going to be able to come through, and it looks like this fight is going to go over to the side of Twisted Vision here, Saber.
Yes, indeed. Surge are only trying to delay the inevitable. They fought in single file, but Twisted Vision will cast their spell and plant their flag. The first point of Lijiang Tower will go to them, but we move on to the next. Whew, take a breather. What do you make of all that?
Like some really good job just zoning some of the players out. It really felt, you know, like Twisted Vision. They managed to get a nice kind of presence on the point, and really some of these players from Surge were trying to get in. They were doing a good job moving as a unit, but there was still just really good team play from Twisted Vision to separate some of these kills out. But Phoenix, we have now moved indoors. We'll see how this changes things up here for the second segment of this map.
Yeah, we still have Autumn and GRTK sticking to the Pharah. Not necessarily the most freedom you have in the skies in this stage, but there are avenues to which you can control utilizing the Pharah. So we do have the pharmacies yet again, and as we do have Twisted Vision actually getting a little bit more position on the point. Now we do have to really look at these Pharahs and the amount of damage going through across both sides, as the point is going to get unlocked now. We have to see how Surge try and make their way to try and contest the point here, Cyber.
They're not even going to be able to contest. The point will immediately flip over to Twisted Vision, and Volante has been turned into German scrap metal. My apologies, my good friend. And Koi will put a arrow right through Breezy's face, but Noah will undo that frag. And, well, Twisted Vision just ran in, shoved him out, And that was pretty much the end of that. And now Surge will have to walk back, recoil, and try to figure out what they will do. And Fatebringer might have bought the corner R's by using the Valkyrie.
They are starting to move forward, trying to grab some space, and Corey's gonna get a nice shot there onto the Mercy. Here comes the barrage though from Autumn. He only manages to find one before GRTK picks him off. Now there's been a really good job by surging into this point, taking a lot of space. They found some kills, but Base God on that Zenyatta has picked off Koi. Really find another kill. He's trying to duel out his rival Zenyatta. He's right up in his face there. He's actually gonna pop the Transcendence to get out, and that's gonna allow these spawns to come back in. Against all odds, they've seemed to hold this point.
Yeah, it seems as though Base God, that Transcendence at that end may have not been all that necessary, but it does secure it for themselves. They do have a few other ultimates to work with. But on the other side, Surge, they had a very strong start to the fight. Koi managing to take down members right at the start, but they weren't able to really follow up on it as an Earth Shatter gets dropped, but does not land. So it is going to be a bit of an Earth Shatter to kind of forget for Bus, but now they are actually going to start making the way to some more congested areas as the Graviton does get popped, and it looks like they're going to throw in the Dragon as well. But on the backside, GFTK does manage to take down Nor, as because the Transcendence came through Cyber, they weren't able to really get anything out of that combo.
No, not at all. It was essentially nullified. There goes the Dragons from the side of Surge ESC. Did not really get all that much. The Mighty Hammer came down from Volante. Actually claimed a couple of victims. Bus got taken out very quickly, and just in the nick of time, Surge have ticked over. But Dreamboat, they have a long hill to climb.
Yeah, this is not going to be easy for them, going 0 to 100 real fast. But they are starting to build the climb up. They have a couple tools coming up. They already have the Valkyrie. They're very close on that Graviton Surge. So they have a few pieces of the puzzle to try and hold it, but there's a lot coming back at them very quickly. And you can tell that Twisted Vision are going to want to get right in here. They're starting to engage, starting to press forward. A lot comes onto this Graviton. They pull them all in together, but the Transcendence is going to undo a lot of that work. Autumn picking off the Zarya is a nice pick. GRTK will pick up his rival Pharah. And here comes the Dragons. They're not finding anything though here, Phoenix.
Yeah, it looked like it was just a little bit mistimed. The combination was just not there. It's a great boot coming out from Autumn. Sends Volante straight off of the map. He tried to get into a situation to start slamming away, but it just wasn't enough as the Transcendence has to get used just to get Surge back onto the point. And now Autumn and QVN are able to just let rip their ultimates and secure this point, and that is going to be it. Twisted Vision takes Lijiang Tower.
The Twisted Vision actually became clear towards the end. I'd say it was actually quite I wouldn't say dominant, but it took a lot of hard work for Surge to even try to get a proper rebuttal. And as you see, the will drop. Poor Breezy add the mech into the water. You'll be sleeping with the fishes, my friend. But what do you make of all that? A good showing from both sides, but a very good showing from Twisted Vision, who have a lot of different pieces.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things there is it felt at times there were a few big plays, especially from Corey, that you thought maybe Surge would be a twist of fate for them here, getting back into it, especially on that second segment. You thought that there was an opportunity for them to come back in, make it work, but Twisted Vision just working so well together. And unfortunately for Surge, that means that they have picked off map 1. The first map of Rise Up is in the bag. Congratulations to Twisted Vision on taking map 1.
Yeah, now we have to see where Surge want to go for the next map. The choice is between Gibraltar, Watchpoint Gibraltar and Rialto. So, Cyber, what are your thoughts about the decision coming into this next map?
It's very interesting because you have the epitome of old and new. Watchpoint Gibraltar is one of the maps that has been in for the longest time, both in the beta phase and since release, and the other map of Rialto is actually the newest map, which is just starting to cultivate, and the strategies are starting to come to fruition. And it'll be basically a coin flip. What Surge will want to do for their next move, and it'll actually be really curious to see what will happen.
And of course, if you are just tuning in, this is the Rise Up Invitational. This is day number 1, Twisted Vision versus Surge. Phoenix, this is definitely kind of a special event here with the number of good quality teams that we have, is it not?
Yeah, we've got some great teams, some up-and-comers and others who have been around in contenders here in Australia and really been putting up some good showings. And now they get to show it yet again on a great stage. And it looks like, Cyber, we are going to be going over to the good old-fashioned Gibraltar here for map 2.
Indeed, we have a update from the sidelines. One of the games that are off stream. Paradigm Shift and Moth Black are going at it, and Paradigm Shift are now up 1-0. So they took the W for Lijiang Tower this evening, and they joined Twisted Vision in sharing that accolade, getting the first map win to their name for the Rise Up Invitational. But back to the topic at hand, we do have Watchpoint Gibraltar, which is really interesting, especially given a few of the changes to the heroes and a new addition to the hero pool. For those that are wondering, Hammond is tournament legal, and I can't wait to see if he gets used.
Yeah, he's one of those heroes that it feels like you go into quick play, you go into being competitive. It's always there, I can't remember the last time I played a game without Hammond, but there's a lot difference than me seeing it coming out in the plat games that I play, than coming in here and seeing some actually good players using him. So I'm curious, I haven't been blown away with him at the lower level. I'm curious to see how it is going to play out at a much higher level.
Yeah, I feel as though with the Wrecking Ball, he seems to thrive more in the team situations. Like, if your opponent is going to be more spread out and kind of coming in at all these different angles and there's all these chaotic team fights, the Hammond doesn't necessarily get as much value because he wants to be essentially in the thick of it with more people around him so he can get more value out of that adaptive shield and just draw a lot of the fire. But if he's only getting 1 or 2 people with that adaptive shield, he does seem to struggle a little bit more. He does bring a lot of crowd control and just disruption to a lot of these situations. So if you do have a static defense, he can really start to knock things around, Cyber.
Indeed, we have had a substitution as well, and Nami is now in. You see the little pick of Widowmaker DPS that is in the lineup. But in case you are just joining us, you are joining us on the opening night of the Rise Up Invitational. My name is Justin, aka Cyberwaste, and I have 2 lovely co-commentators, Dreamboat and GL Phoenix, and we greatly thank you for your company. And now, gentlemen, let us travel to Gibraltar.
Alrighty, and it is going to be Surge on defense first. I'm interested to see Surge on attack first, I'm sorry. And it looks like, well, as far as we can see, Volante is at least hovering that Hammond the Wrecking Ball, but I've been baited before when it comes to attacking sides, hovering things before the gates actually open.
Do not spec him when he's doing the roller ball, it will actually make you sick. I learned that the hard way. But we see a pretty standard defense for Watchpoint Gibraltar, especially because there are so many long distances that you have to cover, and so many long sight lines that are basically a field day for a Widowmaker that has the hot hand. That will definitely show it off, and sadly, no hams to Phoenix. We're going to be left wanting. The gate's open.
Really bad.
Let's begin.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Nami is coming in to fulfill that Widow role, so now that they are going to be going into those Widow duels, and that's exactly what we want to see. Nami getting that first pick onto GRTK. This is what they want out of this substitution here, Dreamboat.
Well, they have pulled up the res to try and bring GRTK back into this, but definitely a good opener there from Nami. However, that's the only thing that they really managed to grab as this card is starting to make its way down through the underground. One back up the other side.
Leaping onto the high ground. It looks like Surge is just really wanting to push back the defense and give the cart a little bit more room to move. It's almost out of the ditch now. That'll be exactly what they want. A Twisted Vision have just put the clamps on it Autumn had a big part to play in that one, and that card is not going to be moving anymore, and Surge will have to sort of restructure that, because that just fell apart in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, it feels as though the two parts of the attack were just not really in line. We had the dive, the very heavy dive going from that front line, but the rest of the team was not really there to follow up. GRTK was not in a position to abuse a lot of those long sightlines, and it just allowed the rest of the defense of Twisted Vision to just pick apart the front line and just completely ignore the rest of the team. And they've really set up a strong defense. They don't necessarily need to have that aggressive forward defense, as they are very fine just playing it back, playing it into a very secure defense back towards the point, and making it very hard for Surge to make their way through.
We do have the Dragon Blade coming in here. Monstrosity is going to get a big kill onto the Brigida before that comes in. Oh, I thought they were going to deback the Diva, but the bomb coming out. Not able to find anything, but that's going to delay a lot of the Dragon Blade. It's going to allow this Widow to potentially get... Nope! Gets hunted down. I thought Nami had a chance to escape. But Koi doing all kinds of work right now on this Genji, picking up the Mercy as well, and this should be them capping the first point up here.
Only delaying the inevitable now. Autumn will be brought down by the entire team, and that is that. The first checkpoint will fall to Surge Esports Club, and now the next task is to push it through the hangar, and that'll make things a little bit easier with one healer taken out of the equation. And the second one will fall prey to Koi. So this cart will basically move uncontested for the time being.
Yeah, and this is what they wanted to be doing with that first push, having the whole team there to follow up on those diving engagements. And once they take down that support cast on the side of Twisted Vision, it's very hard for the rest of the team to stick around, and they are going to try and make a play at least towards the end of the hangar bay, as Basecott does get a nice kill onto GRTK, the Widow, so that's going to be a bit of a thorn for them to try and work their way through, and it does stall out this push for just a little bit longer, Dreamboat.
Yeah, Basecott popping off right there, picking down both the Widow and the Winston. You know, just catching W's there, and he's doing his best to help his team catch the W in this game. You have the hacks coming out from the Widow, giving Nami some nice sight lines here, seeing if he can figure out where they're coming from. And these players are actually just going to be sitting back. They don't want to peek that. They're too scared as the wall hacks have expired, so now we should see them start to move back in.
Yeah, now we see the amount of ultimates coming in for the side of Surge. They can play this pretty loose when it comes to the ultimate economy. They do manage to get an early kill onto Bus, and they're not in a good position for the resurrection. And here comes the blade. They take down Nami. Koi is trying to take down more, gets down Base God, and that should secure this fight for the side of Surge. They didn't even have to invest all that much with this one, Cyber.
No, not at all. Only a single blade on Sheath, and it basically cut the entire team in half. And now it is only the Diva on the side of Twisted Vision to try and bleed a bit more time. Breezy, what can he do with that, my man? There goes the self-destruct from Monstrosity. Does not get any of the defenders, but it will bring them enough time. But Breezy will get the member of Koi to hit the deck, but GRTK will get a upper hand in the Widow duel for the time being, and Nope will get rid of Base God. Just an all-out scrap on the payload just before the second gate, just to either bleed a bit more time or find a bit more stability for the side of Twisted Vision, Dreamboat.
Yeah, Breezy's trying to get another couple kills. He's doing a lot of work right now. We'll clean up his rival Diva as well. And really just nice job by him holding that one down. Good work by Twisted Vision to maintain their position. And I'm curious to see. We do still see GRTK sticking on the Widow duel. He's got the confidence in it. I was curious to see if he'd swap off at this point, see if they change their approach. But it looks like they're committing to it.
Yeah, they are trying to commit to having those long sight lines, or the support of the Widow just claiming heads, or potentially claiming heads, but because of that failed push, they have been put behind when it comes to the ultimate economy now, as it seems that Twisted Vision, realizing that they have the better position, they are starting to push forward a little bit more, as Autumn stepping a little bit too far forward, and that is going to be a very unfavorable position. They aren't going to be able to get a res, and that is going to force the Valkyries from both sides. GRTK managed to get the kill onto Nami for long to take down Base God, but the return kills are going to come in for the side of Twisted Vision. As the fight is going to keep on going, the destruction is going to get put into not the best of positions as it is going to be completely ignored by the side of Surge, as it's just trading back and forward on the point, but it looks like Twisted Vision are able to hold on for just a little bit longer here, Dreamboat.
Yeah, they're doing what they can to delay it out. There's 20 seconds though, and that means the Surge need to start moving forward, but they can't do it because Breezy's just destroying them. Again, demeching and then cleaning up Monstrosity. Now, that's a very late stagger coming in because they need to go in despite Ron not even being spawned yet.
And if you see from the positions of the side of Surge, they're very scattered. They have only just convened and have pushed it into overtime, and Base God have made sure that Surge are playing a man down and making it permanent. And then Nadame and Awesome will contribute as well. Fatebringer has gone to the bench, and it's only a matter of time with Monstrosity being the mecha pilot with the body blaster. That won't do you much good. They fall just short of the second checkpoint to do Twisted Vision, and it'll be up to Surge to match.
Yeah, it was just really nicely done there from the defense, just holding on strong, utilizing their ultimates when they came up in that very scrambled style of defense in some of those fights. But in the end, it is going to be Twisted Vision getting a nice hold there at second point. So Surge, they're going to have to put up some strong resistance here. And I really got to look at really taking a liking to Nami coming in as essentially the super sub here and really making it work here on the Widow here, Dreamboat.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely tough as well, considering that Koi was on Genji and doing like stupid amounts of work, it felt like, for Surge. You know, anytime you see a Genji that's running red hot as a Widow player, makes your heart a little bit panicked because they might try and get up in your face. Didn't manage to do that though, managed to be zoned well, and that allowed Nami to do all kinds of work. And now we see a little bit of a swap as we bring things over. Corey is on that Widowmaker. I guess GRTK, not feeling too hot in the Widow duel, decided it was time for Corey to take over. He's picked up the Hanzo instead.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see what the attack of Twisted Vision will bring to the table. They're doing their it's pretty much annual for a lot of the attacking teams. Just do a lot of goofy picks to throw off both the casters and perhaps even their opponents as well if they see any of their reflections, but I doubt that. 14 now, going down to 10 seconds until the gates open. Can Surge match the defensive prowess that Twisted Vision did show? Or will Twisted Vision run them down? Let's find out.
Yeah, interestingly enough, they are going to go with their Orisa, and I'm a little bit worried because we've seen very consistently static defenses can get punished really heavily if they're not able to get set up and stay there. As we do seem to get set up very high, as JFK gets a nice kill onto Autumn, the Resurrection does come in as well, but throughout all of this, the card is going to get pushed throughout this, and it does mean that the rest of the defense has to get forced back, but they do manage to set up before they get overtaken by this offense.
Big bad times ahead. If that payload gets stuck in the ditch, that will give the defense all the positioning in the world to get a good thing going. But GRTK gets absolutely deleted and destroyed. And just in the blink of an eye, the defense completely collapsed. And Twisted Vision will keep this payload rolling forward in dominant fashion, and you would definitely say that they had a far better time of getting the offense to work as opposed to their opponents in Surge, Dreamboat.
Yeah, I mean, Surge, don't get me wrong, they did a good job getting into the first point, but that was just absolutely silky smooth by Twisted Vision. And Breezy having picked off GRTK is a nice, you know, prize as well. Autumn won't go down, has to be rezzed out. So there's no res right now on the side of Twisted Vision, but they're still engaging. And Nami's found, nope, that's a big kill onto the Zenyatta. They're still trying to move forward, and Boss is going to get the Mercy as well. There's no heals here. This is a tremendous opportunity for Twisted Vision.
Oh, wow.
Pinned Koi in the corner, and now they are rolling that payload forth.
No one can
Yeah,
hide.
we saw similar things when it came to Surge on their attack. They rolled through a lot of this second point, but with how consistently TV are able to just shut out this defense, the Dragon Blade does come through, as does the Dragon Strike on the return swing, but it is just going to be Autumn just cleaning up members left, right, and center for Twisted Vision. The Mech Explosion does come in, does manage to take down Autumn finally, so shuts him down but it looks like it's just going to be trading back and forth as Twisted Vision do just need a little bit more time and space, and it's only Volante left on the point. There's just too much coming out from the side of this Twisted Vision attack, and they are going to do it. They secure themselves the win, and they are going to take Gibraltar for themselves as well.
That was
Oh, I
absolute squash dominance, I must say.
I thought there was a chance coming in there with that late engagement, but really, just the fact that Base God was alive, managing to throw that orb on a few of the enemy players, just meant that they got shredded coming back in. And Autumn doing so much work on that Genji. Jesus. He was
Yeah,
dirty.
that's a very apt reaction, especially after that particular effort. And whew, take a breather from that one. For those that are wondering, you are tuning in to the first night of the Rise Up Invitational. And Twisted Vision are your victors on Watchpoint Gibraltar and go up 2-0 in the series. And
We got a little
I'm
bit of an off-stream announcement as well, because there is, of course, that game going with Moff Black versus Paradigm Shift. Moff Black actually picked up Gibraltar, so now they're at 1-1 in that series with Paradigm Shift. So close game in the other series as well.
Yeah, interesting to see the even scores there. But on this one that we have right here, Twisted Vision and Surge. Surge, so many opportunities to get the teamfight wins and keep the objective going for themselves. But time and time again, Twisted Vision, they're just coming in clutch in these scrappy fights, turning it around and making it very hard for Surge to stick around. And the way the ultimates have been used with Twisted Vision, really coming in clutch here, Cyber.
Indeed, and they've definitely put on a show. But Twisted Vision have staked their claim and already made a very good exclamation point as being a front runner, or a dark horse, if you will, for this Rise Up Invitational. But we will go to a quick break as we go into halftime for this format series between Twisted Vision and Surge. My name is Cyberwaste. I'm joined by GL Phoenix and Dreamboat. We thank you for your company. We will be back very, very shortly.
We're back from map 3 of this 4-game set between Twisted Vision and Surge of round 1 of the Rise Up Invitational. This is day 1, series number 1. We have had a hot start right now. Twisted Vision have jumped out 2-0, taking Leung Tower and Gibraltar. But we are here in Horizon Lunar Colony, which is a bit of a different beast here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how both these teams are going to approach the attack and defense. There's a lot of different things that you can do. It can be a little bit rough trying to push through some of these earlier choke points, but once you get there, you can really start to tear apart these defenses, regardless of where they're set up. So I'm very interested to see how this Twisted Vision defense is going to get set up first, as they will be the first ones to try and hold on, and how Surge are going to try and make their way towards this point here, Cyber.
Well, I think Cyber has kicked the bucket. He is down for the count, but that is okay, Phoenix, because me and you together forever, and we can make this work. Speaking of make this work, hopefully we'll see Surge kind of change their fortunes here, make something work, and be able to kind of pull it out. They are going to be our opening attacking team. We will have Twisted Vision on defense.
Yeah, and already we can see Bus with the Orisa, and also Breezy going onto the Roadhog, so there's a decent amount of damage coming out of this defensive lineup from Twisted Vision, and oh, here we go. Volante does have this Wrecking Ball, and there's a lot of verticality that he can really make use of, and once we do get towards that point, he can be a real nuisance, as he's just going to completely ignore that static defense and walk straight past it, forcing the reaction out of the defense here, Dreamboat.
Yeah, he is just spot space, and now he's getting right up in on top of them, all up in their faces right now, just throwing some of those big cannons into the defense, forcing them back to point. It's a lot of nice space grab, but Nami is going to take out GRTK. That is the Rebel Widowmaker. And now we have Autumn on the Junkrat going hunting. He's on an adventure, just trying to do some damage. Hook's not landing, but so far that kill seems to be enough to kind of slow things down a little bit here for the attack.
Yeah, and they're not actually going to be using that Resurrection, just waiting for the... Oh, they were just waiting for the Widow to come back. We'll have a good sightline towards that point, as they are slowly making an approach, as here comes a Wrecking Ball right from the back, trying to draw a lot of attention to allow the rest of the team to make their way towards the point, and now is the all-out brawl, but with Volante going down immediately, they're not able to really get much out of that distraction that the Wrecking Ball was trying to create there, Dreamboat.
Yeah, he was doing... tried to do a lot of work, didn't work out, got shut down pretty heavily. And now it looks like Ron is going to be super staggered here. Unless... Oh, he gets healed by the Mercy to get out. So that is actually pretty big, because if that was a late stagger, that would have slowed down this bring back in, being a great time for the defense. But instead, they're able to come right forward. We have the wall hacks coming out right now from both snipers, so everybody is aware of where everyone is at the moment. Now it comes down to the execution.
Oh, we do have the Riptide coming in, completely denies Volante's move towards that point, so that is going to shut down this approach for just a little bit longer. I can see what they're trying to do with this combination. Use that Wrecking Ball to displace, or at least force the reaction out of this static defense, but Twisted Vision just not falling for it. They are just stonewalling them right now and making it very hard for this Surge approach here, Dreamboat.
Here comes Volante getting right back in on top of them as well, trying to get straight forward, doing what he's done thus far, but that's allowed space for the Dragon Blade to come in. However, this Transcendence is going to come down. Core's going to be cleaned up easily by Breezy on the Roadhog. And again, it just seems that this defense is getting all the opening picks. We have the bomb coming in from the defense. And it gets 3. It gets both healers, picking off the Junkrat. That is massive. That is a huge opening, and now they need to continue to go off of it. Breezy is here ulting, but he'll be cleaned up by Nope. There's just Bust with the Bongo at the back of this point, and he is being brawled away. Bongo down. Bust trying to delay as long as he can. Will be cleaned up, and that means that we have a tick going the way of Surge. They should get a second, and they may even full cap this before any kind of contention comes in. There will not be contention, so they get .1.
Absolutely. As soon as that mech explosion took down 3, that was pretty much it right there. There's no way you can really... Well, there's very few ways that you can actually come back from a situation like that. But now, point A has been captured. Now we're coming into point B. Have to see how this approach comes through. I'm not sure they'll be able to get such a money explosion as they did before, but Autumn, yet again, using the Riptide, takes care of that Wrecking Ball. It's going to stall at this defense just that little bit longer, and we're seeing Volante try and get some good approaches, but it's getting completely snuffed each and every time here.
And that's what Hammond relies on so often, and Name will get the better of GRTK in the Widow Duel, which has gone on all night. Fatebringer will bring GRTK back into the frame, but that res will be off the table for the next 30 seconds or so. And Noah brings out the wings and has a call to arms. One is actually brought low, but is quite fine. Base Guard is turned into scrap thanks to Hanzo's arrows there from Koi. And there is a full out brawl on the second point, and it'll be up to Twisted Vision to try to scramble something back, but it looks like they might have finally broken in, thanks to just a little bit of persistence on the side of Surge.
Yeah, the Dragon Strike comes in and picks up Autumn coming out of spawn on the Doomfist. There's just Buzz trying to get in, but it has been a brouhaha on the point favoring Surge, and they cap through with a pretty good time as well. Is that right, Phoenix?
Yeah, they did get sorted a little bit on that first point, but once they managed to actually get in, thanks very much to that Diva Mech explosion taking down 3, they were able to just roll that momentum straight through, made it very hard for Twisted Vision to get set up in the same way. And it just utilized better ultimate economy at that situation to just keep on rolling through to the point. And now we have to see how Twisted Vision, they're going to come through for their attacking phase.
Be actually curious to see whether they do a mirrored strategy or not in their attacking phase on the side of Twisted Vision, because as we said, it is quite new in terms of some of the routes that you can use on the attack. One of them has been completely stifled, and one of them has been altered quite a bit as well. There is no way in on the lower decks on either side, aside from a couple of changed doors. And now, Twisted Vision, do you have the metal to match what you just had to put up against?
Base God standing in spawn on the Torbjorn, so he's collecting that metal, and that's gonna be.
May all be scrap, but it's still metal.
There you go. So no, he's swapped over to Zenyatta. Autumn is, funnily enough, standing on Torbjorn now in spawn. I guess he told Base God to get off it. He wanted to be having the fun in spawn collecting that scrap metal.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see what they're going to go with. It looks like Base God's actually making some changes here, there, and everywhere. It looks like Autumn's actually going to go with the Sombra. So trying to get in behind, utilizing that invisibility, and get, as we saw with Surge's attack, try and just displace this static defense and make it very hard for them to set up. But already just the amount of bullets being thrown into that area makes it very hard for Autumn to safely make his way through there.
And then accidentally ran over the better mine, and that was it. They basically got exposed, and Autumn would be like, oh, I have to change my approach. That's exactly what he'll do. He's moved onto the lower deck and tried to pinch the upper defense of Surge Esports Club. Oh dear, look how behind he is. The GRTK has gone down. And Breezy actually took out Nope, so that could be a heavy hit to the defense, and Autumn's taken down the Orisa and the Mercy.
Oh, wow.
And this defense has been basically quashed and destroyed at the fingertips of Autumn and the shotguns of Breezy's mech. And that was as easy as you would have liked, Dreamboat.
Yeah, and I mean, really the big thing was I was worried because Autumn got the hack through onto the Orisa, got the early kill, but I thought the res was going to come in, and then Autumn was just going to be marginalized. Autumn actually did such a good job shredding that Mercy, trying to get that res off. That was 2 huge opening picks, and then Breezy just did all the rest. But now they're going to see if they can carry that momentum through here. Phoenix is jumping right forward. Monstrosity and GRTK, though, will get the first couple picks.
Yeah, but with this extra, well, it looks like Twisted Vision, they wanted to pull back just a little bit because they don't have the resurrection, so they have to wait for Nami to actually get back into the fight. Whereas on the other side, Fatebringer on the Mercy is going to be able to bring a member back, so not wanting to fight through the nail to try essentially a battle of attrition at that stage that they don't necessarily have the tools to work with, but coming into this next push, they have some good ultimates to work with self-destruct and EMP and also the coalescence. And now they're actually just going to go straight in and they just destroy Nope right off the bat. Has no way of keeping himself alive there. GLTK is going to be the next one to go down. The Brigitte not going to be able to help out. And with that third support going down, this looks like it is just going to be lights out here for the side of Surge, as we saw a very strong push coming out from Surge on their attack, but this is looking just as strong here for Twisted Vision here, Dreamboat.
And the hack will come in onto the Winston. And now the Dragon Blade coming out of Koi. There's an opportunity for them to actually slow this down. They're getting right in there. He hasn't managed to find much off of it, but he did manage to get the kill on the Nami. Fatebringer now on the defensive Mercy has fallen. They are still looking for some kills. GTK though on this Brigitte is doing a lot of work slowing them down, and the Genji is right up in their face. Koi getting two there, picking off a couple. That's going to slow things down, and that is going to be it for the push. They didn't even get a tick out of that, despite how much point presence they had.
Bit of a shame, really. They fought tooth and nail to even try to get close to a third, and it's a bit of a shame that they did not end up getting that far. But they do have the Coalescence and EMP on deck. But they won't have all that much else unless Breezy gets right up into the fight. There will be a self-destruct about at the halfway stage of this fight, should he choose to go any further. And there it goes. He's back in the thick and up on the high ground. They're starting to roll in now.
I fear for Nope. EMP and just a little bit of extra damage takes him down, but on the return swing, Koi is just shredding apart this offense. There's absolutely nothing that TV can do. It's a good start to the fight, taking down Nope, but after that, the rest of the team just don't have enough tools in the bank to even keep the fights going here, Dreamboat. And they are actually making switches, yeah.
Yeah, the EMP was a great start to that fight, but there wasn't just enough follow-up. And because of that, Autumn has actually swapped off, is on Hanzo now. They're actually running double sniper into this, the Hanzo and the Widow. See how this works out. I'm not entirely sure if I continue with that approach, or try that approach, I should say. We'll see how it works out here, because they are better than me, so we'll find out.
Having a little bit of a war of attrition up top. And there goes the self-destruct from Monstrosity right in front of everyone. Doesn't get anyone. The mech actually got taken out, and the pilot got taken out as well. But that may not mean much. Nope got the better of his adversary. Base God, Monstrosity gets his frag erased, his mech back, and that will be it. There was a lot more time, but as it stands in this current space, Surge will have a better time, but it's definitely not over for Twisted Vision, but they still have a lot at their disposal.
They're starting to try and move their way forward. They're eking in, trying to get the space. They're running this pharmacy combo now on Autumn. They realize that the Hanzo wasn't the right call, but it doesn't seem to matter. GRTK getting a nice headshot there, picking off the Pharah. I mean, we'll trade back on the GRTK. We'll see if the res comes in to bring Autumn back into this. No, he's swapping to Brigitte.
Just trading back and forth with their composition. They're very somewhat indecisive, trying to get the right composition necessary for this approach. They are getting a lot of early advantages thanks to Nami managing to take down some of their opposition, but it's just not enough. Buzz does manage to get the kill onto Koi, starting this off very nicely, and there we do have it. Nami again getting the kill onto a key target, taking down the Mercy, giving a little bit more space over to this attacking side. They do manage to take down Nope, as Volante and just the rest of Surge are going to drop it. Here comes the counter engagement coming out from Koi, but it's not going to be enough. The Transcendence just completely stonewalls him out, as May is just going to be stalling this point out for as long as she can, but they are starting to lose members left, right, and center. But still, because of this delay, they have been able to deny at least a single tech, but they do finally get it. The Wrecking Ball does try and get their way onto the point, but they're just staggering one by one, and it looks like, Cyber, that they are going to be able to secure at least the majority of this point here.
Only delaying the inevitable. You see the full composition coming out now. You see the Tracer's Hammonds. Everything to try and stall the point, bleed the clock. And there goes Volante on the Wrecking Ball. He will be wrecking no more. And there is going to be nothing but speed and nothing but walking in single file to try and play into the clock and make Kronos their friend. Name and Breezy are doing a lot of the heavy lifting Volante tries to contest for one last time, and that will prove to be fruitless. Name would be stroking his chin with glee after an effort like that, saying, "You couldn't have done it without me, could you?" He went off during those last phases there.
And the Brigida switch is actually one of the ones that was absolutely massive there for them, as it allowed them to get in. It was actually found, I think, 2 or 3 kills in that initial push. And because of that, that just left those players trying to funnel back in. And anytime you try and walk back into a point through a choke, past a Widowmaker, you tend to either be very low health by the end of it or dead. Especially when Nami is hitting the shots that he was. So it's a really good job there with the Brigida swap, reading that, you know what, this is probably what needs to happen. After a little bit of indecision, they got the right pick in the end, and that allowed them to cap it out. A little bit worse time, though, than their opposition. So they need to do very well here with a minute 10 seconds on their time.
Yeah, it looked like they were going to have a very good time for themselves, but because of the very solid point B defense coming out from Surge, they are going to be down an extra couple of minutes, so they have to get as much as they can out of this 1 minute and 10 that they have for their own attack, and then put up a stone wall, which, to be honest, considering how those first rounds ended up going, I could very well see Twisted Vision holding on this first point hit, Cyber.
It's essentially a one and done in the grand scheme of things, because they will only have 1 minute people to take when they actually engage, and the defense of Surge is definitely aware of this given their current position itself, especially with the have a breakthrough, and they're ignoring it somehow and realizing they're running all the way around and trying to eventually break the defense by grabbing them all the way around. We'll have to see how this pans out, because if it fails, they might not even get another chance, Phoenix.
Yeah, they are just completely ignoring the static defense, and that's one of the things with these kind of setups on the defensive side of things. But Koi is actually starting to really make a bit of space for himself, getting several kills and making it hard for this attack to keep on going. But with several members on the point, it's forcing the defense to readjust their positioning, and it looks like with the kills still being traded back and forth, they are able to maintain control of the point. We do have GRTK coming on to the Tracer, but it's just not going to be enough. Do end up getting taken down, and with just a minute 10 on the clock, Twisted Vision are able to secure themselves this first point. But Dreamboat, will they be able to secure point B?
They have 22 seconds to get in. That is not a big window, but they're already on the point. Trying to delay what they can, trying to find any of these kills. They need the big opening pick as these ults are coming out here. And that is a huge one, taking out Fatebringer. However, the kills have gone back the other way. The defense have found the next pair. They need to start turning a few more of these. They will team X to Diva, and that will clean it up as well. FaceGod doing all kinds of work right now. This Demora is absolutely popping off. They're trying to get this Mercy down as the next aim of this fight. But there's still so many players left alive on this point. Cleanup needs to come strong, and the Diva Bomb is coming down. Phoenix, it's gonna kill Autumn on the Doomfist. Down goes the Tracer as well. This is looking rough and looking dire.
Yeah, it's looking very scrappy from both sides, but because of the difference in spawn distance, it's looking like the reinforcements are just a little bit too strong for the defense and Surge. They are going to hold them out, but considering how much time they had to start that attack, I think Twisted Vision could be quite happy with that there, Saba.
Indeed, they got a lot more done with a lot less time compared to their previous attack, and they'd definitely be very happy with that. And 3 minutes to 25 to hold a defense, in my opinion, is actually quite doable, especially on this version.
That's about what they did on that first round, yeah.
Indeed, and I think that with a time like 3 minutes to 25, it's entirely doable to hold out to either get a win, or should they end up getting the point, the best they can hope for is a draw.
It is going to be interesting, but I'm interested to see whether or not Surge try and go with a similar attack as they did in the first round, going with Volante on that Wrecking Ball, try and displace a static defense. In the first round, it didn't work out all that well. It took a real hero play out of the Diva from Monstrosity, getting 3 members with the Mech Explosion to really open up that defense. I'm not sure they'll get as lucky this time here, Dreamboat.
Yeah, it's tough call. You know, some hero plays can come out. but that's really what we're gonna need to see. 3 minutes 25. It's a lot of time to work with, considering what was accomplished with such little time. Curious, but we are starting to come in. The Cyberways are starting to inch forward. They have the comp they want. That does include Volante on the Hammond. The Wrecking Ball, as they are starting to move in.
They just trying to take advantage of the extra time they do have. They do have a give or take with a little bit of rounding. They have triple the time of Twisted Vision, who are now on the defensive bid, pushed back ever so slightly. It looks like it's gone to the lower level of the Wizard, and this entire fight is going onto the point. This war of attrition that we have going on is going to continue for a little while longer, Phoenix.
Yeah, they are trying to make their way towards the point, but this defense, they're giving up space, but they're not giving up the entire point, as Name does manage to get a kill onto Nope, so that's the support down to try and get a resurrection onto that if they want to have all members here for this attack, but they are pulling back. Surge understanding that they do have time at their, in their pocket. They have an extra 2 minutes, so they don't have to rush things here, Dreamboat.
Well, they're starting to try and inch forward again, but Nami doing a great job. D-Mex, the Diva, Breezy's picked up Fatebringer, the Mercy, and now Bus is super deep right now, trying to find some of these kills. GTK though, that's a nice opener on Nami.
Bus went deep. It actually paid off okay for him because he ended up retreating, but he will need a healer sometime soon, and there they are. So normality is restored. We're running into 1 minute and 35. And Phoenix, do you think that the side of Surge are running out of options, or do you think their best attack could be this one or the next?
Well, if they want to have one very slow approach, as they have been doing so far this round, they'll probably get one good approach left, as we do have ultimates on both sides ready to come out. Koi looking to be the big player here as he comes in with that Dragon Blade. He's trying to get stuff to happen, does manage to take down Order, but with the Transcendence, they're not going to be able to get much more than that. Koi actually does manage to take down Nor. Nami takes down GRTK, who does have a very good line onto that point, but the members of the defense, Twisted Vision, are starting to lose steam, as some of the positional plays from Surge is just a little bit too good, and the control of space is just a little bit too tough to deal with, and that is going to be at point A captured here for Surge here, Dreamboat.
Yeah, now one tick on point B is all that they need to find. The ult is slowly coming up here on Koi. He's already up to 80% on getting another Dragon Blade, but there are quite a few tools for the defense to use to try and delay it. It's 55 seconds, so this has become absolutely doable right now for Twisted Vision. It just comes down to execution, Phoenix.
Yeah, they do try and make an approach. Nami does get taken down, who, after so many kills, GLTK finally manages to get the return as another Dragon Blade comes out. Autumn is going to be the first one to go down, makes to take down Base God as well. Really starting this fight off massively for the side of Surge. Resurrection does come through, so they will have all members here for this point, and now comes the scramble defense from Twisted Vision, but the kills are starting to go to the way of the blue team. Bars managed to pick up a couple on the point, and it looks like we're just a little bit of extra time left on the clock. They have to rush to get towards this point, or it's going to be a draw here, Cyber.
Yeah, and they've already made the changes necessary to roll out with blazing speed. They're running down to 5 seconds. Will they be able to touch the point for SOT? And yes, it is. The mines actually come out from Volante too, and the self-destruct has been on deck and has taken Nope out of the fight. They have bought extra time, have the red side of Surge, but it might not be enough. Bus is right on top of Volante. Autumn has ejected Monstrosity from his mech, and he's fighting valiantly with the Body Blaster, but over time will slowly evaporate. And that is a draw for Horizon Lunar Colony.
And you know, one of the really low-key kind of things that, which is kind of not special, just kind of handy for the defense, was the fact that that Diva mech went out. Sure, it picked the Lucio, but it also completely erased the entirety of the Hammond ult by destroying all of the mines, within them being on the ground for a second. I don't know whether they intended for those mines to be if they had a plan for them or they just kind of laid them down to see if they could get some kills with them. But yeah, it was just kind of poetic to see them come down. Like, can't go here. Oh yeah, we can. Guess what? We have a Diva Bomb.
Yeah, it looked like the controller space was going to be in there for Surge. If they had to walk into all of those mines, it would have been very hard for Twisted Vision to stay healthy and contest the point. But as you mentioned, the Diva explosion just completely clearing that allowed Twisted Vision to make their way back onto the point, contest, and it looked like it was a good start to that approach for Surge, managing to get some of those early kills. But as we saw in the previous maps, Twisted Vision, when it comes down to those scrappy fights, they're able to pull it out when it really counts here, Cyber.
Indeed. And with that result of a draw, the losing team of the previous map will get the choice of side. And Surge have gone with the classic, we are going to King's Row. And another map which is basically as old as time, but is still going through a little bit of a change in terms of meta and approaches with the new heroes and new mobility options for certain heroes.
Yeah, as we've seen in this in the previous map on Horizon Lunar Colony, the Hammond does come in from time to time, is very good at displacing a lot of those static defenses, forcing them to react in potentially disadvantageous ways, but TV weren't able to deal with that quite well. I'm interested to see if Surge are going to try and bring it out in this one for King's Row, because quite often you do see a lot of static defenses for this first point here, Dreamboat.
Yeah, definitely a lot of static defense. Whether we'll see that come out here, whether we'll see the stone wall, you know, they might be parking the bus. Well, no, they're not going to be. Bus looks to be. Well, maybe.
But they do have a bus.
They do have a bus. It's just to decide if they park it.
It's parked in the middle of the road. I don't think that's legal.
Yeah, it's a very weird street, to be quite honest. It's like little area. It's like, how are you supposed to navigate that with a lot of cars?
It's crooked. It's way out of the curb. That's really dangerous. The cyclist could get cleared.
You can only like really support like Vespers around this little area. Why did they have a full bus there?
Who knows? Maybe maybe it's Omnic law now, since the Omnics actually took charge at King's Row. It could be the way that they do things, that they just don't like Vespers.
Anyway, speaking of buses,
who knows?
Bus on the defense with his Reinhardt. He is going to be trying to set up a wall, for which he's apparently 2 snipers are going to be coming through, and Nami on this Widow. We saw him come in starting on the second map, and Dreamboat, he's been putting up so much work with his Widow here.
Yeah, it's been really difficult for Surge to deal with, and I'm curious to see if he can keep up his form, because one of the big things that kind of drew into him on Horizon Lunar Colony is he was perfect when he was set up and they were coming through a choke point right through spawn. This map has a lot of choke points that they'll be walking right through into him, but they'll have the shields to deal with them. So I'm curious to see if he'll have just as big impact as we are live into our 4th map of this series. They're right up on this point, just trying to brawl it out, start a little bit of a brouhaha. Gonna be the Brigitte leading the charge with the Reinhardt getting right up in their faces. A bus is jumping through, and Nami! Oh my lord, that's a 3K! GRTK Fatebringer are both down, as is Volante, and that is gonna stunt the push. Wow!
Oh, nothing says stop trying to approach the point than a Widow just taking 3 heads in as many shots, and oh, that's a perfect time to talk up a player like Nami and then have him do something like that. That is just, poetry in motion here, Cyber.
Indeed, that's how you basically keep a team at an arm's reach. Do not step into the sightline or I will remove your head and use it as a trophy. That is exactly what Name's been doing on all night since he got tagged in. And there goes Fatebringer again, so one of the supports has been taken out of commission for Surge, and they might actually start to be in hysterics after this. They're going to have to figure out how to deal with Name, and they will have to figure out how to do a quick Dreamboat.
My lord, he is hitting everything in sight. Hitting all of these big fat shots. That's, you know, it's tough because when you have a red hot Widow, if you're not dealing with it properly, your team is getting shredded. And the problem is the shield keeps moving past the Widow, and that just gives an open sight line for him. We do have the Dragons coming in onto this point, trying to do a lot of damage. Autumn, in fact, will fall to Monstrosity, but the Graviton's coming in. They don't clean up on it. All of these kills are going for the offense. There is still Nami on the Widow, but that's the only person there. And I think he should not be able to win this point out.
Felt like it's taken down, but yeah, as soon as that fight started to fall out of favor for the defense, Twisted Vision were just not able to hold on. Nami did very well on that first point, but when the rest of the team were not able to really follow up when it came to Surge moving their way onto the point, very hard for the Widow to just solo carry that fight, even though she was able to do it before, but one fight too many for them to deal with. But now we are getting Dragon Strikes from both sides. They're just intertwining as it all Earthshatter gets blocked, and we are starting to see this defense really set up a great Earthshatter here out of Bus, and they're able to lock down the rest of this attack. And Cyber, this could become one of those situations where this defense can really set up in this choke point.
Definitely, they can really dig their teeth in, especially given where the payload has landed, just past the arch on first point. So that will make things a lot more difficult for the side of Surge to try and break down this wall. GRTK will tell his troops to rally, and Volante sadly got shredded by Autumn, so that's one big juicy tag taken out of commission, but Fatebringer will use her res and bring it back into the fight. So this will basically be a tug of war for the time being, while the payload makes a little bit of progress.
Yeah, the Transcendence does come out to completely deny that Graviton, and throughout all that, GRTK does go down. Earthshatter drop, but doesn't get anything out of it, and the return Graviton, they're going to be able to capitalize on that incredibly well. They take down Volante, they take down Monstrosity, and yet again, Dreamboat, this defense holds strong.
Yeah, they're doing such a good job. They've just kind of hopped on the magic Earthshatter bus and are just letting him set up for them. They're cleaning up so well, and they're just working as an absolute unit right now.
Get it? It's the Earthshatter bus because it's Bus playing Reinhardt.
Ah, yay. Speaking of which, he does have the Earthshatter at the ready, and he will perhaps force Surge to get on the party bus as soon as one of the shields gets broken or goes down. There goes the Transcendence from Nope to keep everybody up. He did it like Macho Man did Bus. He's taken the legs out of 3 of them. Nami and Autumn have cleaned up the scraps, and Bus put the shoulder right to Volante and sent him to the bench. GRTK, Nope, and Fatebringer would shortly follow, and we've just broken the 2-minute mark. And Twisted Vision, like we alluded to earlier, they've really dug their heels in, and Surge have a lot to figure out with dwindling time.
Yeah, that Dragon Blade or Dragon Strike just trailing through at the end. I thought that might have been a call for Koi to switch over to something else, but he's still going with that. That
That could
Hanzo.
cost them in the end, Phoenix.
Yeah, actually, there it is. There's a switch over. I figured by throwing out that Dragon Strike at that situation, it was a bit of a throwaway at that stage, but now, very, very fast approach here, but Bus makes it to clean up Fatebringer, and they don't have a resurrection. Alright, Autumn just cleans up. Nami gets in on the action as well, and it was a rough and tumble kind of approach, but it's just going to get shut down completely here, Dreamboat.
Yeah, a lot of this work is coming in from Autumn on the Hanzo. Haven't really talked too much about him, but he found so many kills in so many situations. And the fun part is he's throwing an arrow around the corner, like someone will walk into it, and Nami will like immediately go for the headshot, but they'll already be dead because Autumn cleaned up first. It's entertaining to watch.
And they are actually running out of lives. Autumn will get everybody who's grabbed up top. And thank goodness everything got nullified there, or it could have been dire. Everybody's backed up and dropped down to the street. The sides have essentially switched. The defensive Twisted Vision are at the arch, and now Surge are right on top of the payload. It's going to be a full-blown scrappy fight, Phoenix. We could be counting down to the final seconds.
Yeah, Nor actually gets taken down. A great Earthshatter from Volante, and this is going to be the fight going over to the side of Surge. Great wraparound, and Really clutch play coming out of Koi to deny that Dragon Strike coming straight through that Graviton. Or this would have been shot down much sooner. But now we're coming to the situation where they have to stick to the payload like glue. And they have to get essentially as much as they possibly can here, Dreamboat, with 0 time left.
Yeah, it seems like the defensive side is the sunny side of the street. Every team that's been on that side won a fight in that corridor. Just so happened that all they needed to do was swap sides for them to win the offense. We did have the D.Va mech coming in here. It's actually gonna find the Mercy. I didn't think it was gonna get nor there. Bus manages to clean up Koi before he can re-mech himself. But now these ults are coming out there so close to the second point. They're starting to find some of these kills. The Fair is in here on Autumn doing a lot of work. Bubbled to keep alive by the Zarya, and that's giving Breezy charge.
Oh, wow.
And now they're finding some of these kills. This defense might actually hold. They're bending, but will they break? Base God finding the Lucio. One coming in, and they will hold it out.
How do they do it? These scrappy last-ditch effort fights from TV, and they managed to bring it out. They had no business coming back into that fight. They were losing members. They even lost their Mercy at the very start of that fight. But still, Autumn managing to take to the skies, and with the assistance of Monstrosity on the... or not Monstrosity, but the assistance of Breezy on the Zarya, able to keep him alive, able to output the damage, and Cyber TV, they just keep on managing to claw their way through.
Indeed. Perhaps that is part of their vision. A giant monster with claws and unpredictable tendencies. Because that's exactly how their team seems to play it. I'm really becoming a fan of it. And goodness me, the fact that they ended up pulling out a defense just short of the Foundry. They'll have to win through the first point and pretty much second to get a 3-0 scoreline in the series. But if Name can break the defense just like he broke the attack in the early stanzas, it's entirely doable, Dreamboat.
Doable, yes. Will this be easy? That is the next question. First of all, they do have Koi on that Widow as defense, and if he can, if he can do anything that Name can do, he feels it, he's feeling that anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. So we'll see if Koi can bring it to the level that Nami did. We'll see if that'll work out. I like the kind of setup they have here. They're running the Orisa shield. He's playing with a little puppy right now, which I can always appreciate, because puppies are cute. But it's not cute. Murder. And we're about to see some murder in the streets of Kings Row here as we are live into the second half of this map. The offense is coming in here. That is Twisted Vision in blue, Surge in red, and Phoenix. What do you see?
The static defense of Surge is set up, and they also have Koi much further back, trying to control a lot of those sidelines. JTK gets the first kill onto Noah. That's going to be a great start to this, but Name gets Koi, as Name, even though they're not on the Widow, able to take down heads with a sniper. The resurrection does come through, but it looks like the positional play has already been made, as a great charge as Volante is going to get slammed into the wall by a big bus. And they're trying to get their way onto the point. There's defense to stall out for as long as possible, but it looks like there's just too many members here as Buzz yet again manages to pick someone up. GTK gets cleaned up with a fire strike, but the rest of the team is starting to fall down. And with how squishy the rest of the team, he is here for the Twisted Vision. But they're going to have to be a little bit more cautious with his approach here.
Breezy has actually pulled out the hold hog, got hooked in by Breezy. He did get the eject on the Monstrosity, but that would be all he'll be able to muster. And that would be the call to arms for Twisted Vision to retreat and rethink their plan of attack. But they will have a couple of good resources to move forward with. They do have the Dragon Blade and the Dragon Strike, and Shimano Brothers will be able to make some beautiful murderous music should they so desire. But Bus is being an absolute brute, just living up to his namesake and just punishing the side of Surge for not checking both sides before crossing the street. And then we get into another skirmish that is on the point. The Dragon Strike does come out and try to part the seas, but doesn't claim a victim. But Autumn is trying to have another sack.
Oh, big shatter there from Bus is gonna demech the D.Va. Not quite what they were looking for to get off of that, but it still is a nice pick. still trying to work forward, see if they can grab any more space, see if they can't grind out this point, but they do have to worry about Koi on the Widow up above. Breezy, though, he's gonna find the mini diva. Koi getting taken up by Nami again. Breezy with the second kill. They're still just trying to clean up. Ferocity, he gets rezzed, he gets cleaned up. That's what feels bad, man. But Nami getting a 2K with the five arrow burst, picking off the Junkrat and the Roadhog. And now they have rolled through. The cart is coming out, and they've moved very aggressively up to this corner in the streets. Bus trying to block them off. He's parked, blocking the line. He's actually going to find Volante as Autumn also picks off Koi. They are all the way up, camping where they need to push to. This is very aggressive right now from Twisted Vision, but that just means that this payload is going to be moving soundly and easily through the streets.
Yeah, just not wanting to get caught up, much like Surge was when they were attacking, trying to, as you mentioned, give free reign for this payload to make its way through the streets. They won't be able to completely shut out this defense by the time they get to where it's really needed to be, but they do get a lot of free progress for themselves, and now we have to see how this defense comes through. Volante stepping forward on the Reinhardt with a nice flank coming in from Autumn, but the Earth Shatter gets completely denied again by Bus. Really nicely done there, and look at the ultimate belt that we have for this attacking side. Here comes the combo, and there goes one. They do manage to take down Volante again. Here comes the blade as well. They are just taking members left, right, and center, and it looks like Twisted Vision, they've done it. They are going to clean up this round, clean up this map, and clean up this series here, Dreamboat.
Yeah, very strong showing, not just here, but in all 4 of our maps, taking the series 3-0-1. They did have that draw, of course, on Horizon Lunar Colony. And speaking of Horizon Lunar Colony, Phoenix, that was also what Moth Black were playing Paradigm Shift on. There was a pause, and unfortunately that map came in with a DC. They couldn't reconnect, and that led to it being 2-1 for Moth. They're heading into the 4th and final map. But on this 4th and final map, Cyber Waste, we had a hell of a game.
Oh man, did we ever? And who would you attribute a lot of that to? You'd say a combined effort, and Name and Bus being a pair of heavy hitters. Bus at the front of the tech line, and Name just cleaning up in terms of damage and making Surge basically run scared for the entire run.
Yeah, it was very hard for Surge to make any safe approaches with Name just cleaning heads left, right, and center. And Bus also have to give a lot of credit to the support cast for Twisted Vision, allowing Bus to step forward like that. Because a lot of the times you will see a Reinhardt step forward, try and start swinging around, but get taken down immediately. But with the support of Twisted Vision really helping him stick around, he was able to get a lot of that extra value and really give Name the space to clean up left, right, and center here.
Yeah, and I mean, a couple of guys that we didn't really talk about as well is just Autumn doing such a consistent job of putting in damage, fighting for his team. And Breezy across, I think, all 4 maps with his tank play on either Diva or Zarya really impressed me. He did a lot of work, Horizon Lunar Colony. Some of those pushes came down to just the amount of work that Breezy did. He was a good, strong player through this entire series. But it was a very nice kind of showing overall by Twisted Vision. And I mean, really, in a 4-map series, when you win 3 of them and draw the 4th, you're expecting to have a pretty good team play across the board.
Yeah, it was definitely on display, and dare I say it, Twisted Vision were in the driver's seat from start to finish. It was up to Surge to catch up, and they didn't quite get all of it. So Twisted Vision making a good impression to open with a 3-0-1 draw scoreline.
Yeah, and that's and if that's the way we kick off this whole event, the Rise Up Invitational, I'm very excited to see how these teams go moving forward. Twisted Vision looking really strong. Surge had some moments of brilliance. We had Koi on that Genji really opening up a lot of those team fights, but they just weren't able to string them together when it was really necessary or when it was really needed to secure objectives. But they still have some time to go in this event to really shorten up some of those deficiencies that they was showing here and there throughout this series. But Dreamboat, both teams really put up a good show.
Yeah, and